was saying here, this rule thing, which was looking a little hairy here, ultimately, thanks to Democrats then breaking ranks and trying to make it happen for the majority party. This is something normally that they voiced and can foster along. But bottom line, the votes are there. The rule is done. The debate moves on now to the actual matter at hand about this plan that a lot of Democrats and a lot of Republicans don't like. Maybe that's a sign that what was cobbled together was something that was good. Let's go right now to Karl Rove, what he makes of all of this. Karl, the drama plays out, but it looks like for Kevin McCarthy, even with the break in his ranks, he gets through this, what could be likely easily. What do you think?
Well, not easy to get here, but I think he is going to get through it, and it's required a great deal of adroit leadership on his part, stretching back not just days, but weeks and months. He's attempted to create an environment in which on issues like this, the Democrat minority can feel like they can cooperate with the majority in order to move the country together. Hakeem Jeffries is going to end up supporting the measure that's going to be voted upon later today or tomorrow. And so why stop the rule? The rule simply says we're going to bring the bill up. Here's how much time we're going to allocate to debate, and then we're going to vote. And so, talk about if you oppose the bill, fine, but vote no. But there are going to be a lot of people who voted against the rule who are going to end up voting for the bill on the Democratic side. But fortunately, that doesn't matter because there are enough Democrats who are helping get the rule passed that this whole measure is going to get taken up. And I think it's going to pass and pass easily once it is voted upon.
You know, Karl, we know of 40 Republicans at least, that might have changed just in the course of this broadcast, who are definite no votes. Some get it pretty extreme in their position. Many of the Freedom Caucus members, like Dan Bishop, have said, I have zero confidence in McCarthy, referring to the Speaker, and his leadership. But he went on to point out right now that this was not what leaders had promised them or what the Speaker had promised them, and that it was a big win for Democrats. Now, I don't know whether he goes the next step to recommend that the Speaker go, but all it takes is a single member, if he or she is quite determined, to get that moving. Where do you see that going?
Well, I'm not certain I see it going very far at all. I mean, you're right. One member can stand up and say, I want to declare the chair vacant, but does the Congress really want to be plunged into that controversy? I don't think so. Again, the vast majority of the House, Republican and Democrat, are going to vote for this debt ceiling increase. The Republicans because it has some restraint on spending in it. The Democrats because they don't want the government to default with a Democrat president in the White House. So, Representative Bishop is entitled to his opinion, but my feeling is you're not going to see a lot of people who say, yeah, let's plunge the House back into controversy because a few dissonant Republicans don't agree with what the vast majority of Republicans are going to end up voting for.
So sort this out then for the Speaker. If you think about it, he had that vote-a-rama time and time again. Many thought he would be a wounded leader, not able to deliver the goods, not even to corral his own party, working adroitly to work with what he could within his own party and who he could with Democrats to seal this deal, or we assume seal this deal later tonight. How do you think his speakership is going?
Well, he's shown that he's got abilities that we didn't think he had. Think about it. How many people thought the Republicans were going to be incapable of passing a bill through the House of Representatives, and they passed that bill? Now, anybody who voted for that bill and thought they were going to get all of that in the final deal was kidding themselves, because we got three big players in this drama. The House of Representatives controlled by the Republicans, the Senate and the White House controlled by the Democrats. The Republicans, in my opinion, have gotten a pretty good deal given the fact that they only control one of the levers of power. And other than a few, sort of fringe members of the Republican Party, I don't think there's anybody in the Republican Party or in the Democratic Party who really wants to see the government grind to a halt and our good faith and credit be questioned, our bonds be downgraded, and the world wondering what the heck is going on in the United States of America by defaulting on our debts. So the Republicans, I think, got pushed a very good plan. They got it passed through the House. They then had to sit down with two other players in the drama, the Senate and the White House, controlled by Democrats. And it strikes me that they got a pretty good deal out of all of that, given the fact that they are they are in the minority in 2 out of 3 of the sets of players who have to sit around the table and arrive at a decision.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.